Part 5A. One of my subbies has a question on how to split music across video segments. This video demonstration is how I edit music files in Movie Maker to play in different video segments. Following this video is Part 5B, which shows the resulting movie from this demonstration. First of all, I want to tell you that I'm fighting a bit of a cold, so if you hear some coughing, please excuse that. I'm doing this video for one of my subbies who is using Windows Movie Maker, and she has a question about splitting music across two segments. She does not want music to fall into her vlog because, well, she doesn't want the music playing while she's talking, and she wants to know how to play the music in the video segment before, but stop it at the point to where she starts talking. So I'm going to show her a couple ways to do that. And I have my example video, which will be the video that you're seeing now after I upload it, of how I can think of two ways to do this. Now, let me make this clear to you. This is only how I personally am using Movie Maker. There may be many other ways to do this. This is only how I do it. I do not claim to be the ultimate expert in anything. I'm just sharing with you what I do. This is where I start out with my The.Meri.Atelietemo, and I have my music, which is Leslie Strutt. I already have that in there. And then the next segment down here, I go into explaining to you what this is all about, and I have my voice over here. Now I get into the first way, and that's where I'm going to pick up now and show you how I do this. I have two video segments. The first video segment is a fast forward segment that I pulled from my mini morsels, and I'm just going to play just a bit of it so that if you watched my mini morsels video, you'll recognize this is where I'm edging my pages with my fine line paint applicator. Okay, then the next segment is one where I start talking, and this may be her vlog. The fast forward portion may be where you want the music to play, but when you start talking over here, and I'm going to just play a segment of this, I'm giving you a tip on how to cut these little triangles.
Here's another tip on cutting these little...
Okay, so she may want music to play over this first segment, but not the second segment. So what I've told her to do is there's two ways that I do this. And one, see how where my cursor is here? Well, I'll put it up here in the blank part of the menu. Now come down to the first segment and just hover over it. And see that little text box that shows up? It gives the name of my file. It gives the duration. You have to hover over it. It gives the duration, which is 19.5 seconds. It tells me whether I have a transition, if I have pan and zoom, and any special effects. So we know that this first segment plays for 19.5 seconds. So we're going to go to the start of it, make sure that your little vertical line is at the start of that. And we're going to go to the Home tab up here. We're going to add music. We're going to add it at the current point. Now I might have to go back out to my YouTube music file, and I'm using Leslie Strutt here, so I'm going to put an L, and I'm choosing Leslie Strutt, and I'm going to open it. Now you can see that Leslie Strutt is much longer than 19.5 seconds, and it is doing exactly what she is having trouble with.
Here's another tip.
It's playing music while I'm talking, and I don't want that. I'm going to go back up to the beginning of my first segment, and I just make sure that your cursor, your little vertical mark is there. And look up here where it says Music Tools. There's Video Tools and Music Tools. Music Tools start time is 26.80 seconds, and that means that I have 26.79 seconds on all this other part at the beginning. And then it says start point 0 and end point 205.14 seconds. So what we're going to do is we're going to highlight. I just left clicked and I highlighted that 205.14. Now you can do a cut and paste here, but what I like to do is just type right over it. 19.5, and you do not need to put in the S. It will default to an S. And then I move my cursor over to that blank area of the menu, and I just tap it, my left cursor once, and it changed it to 19.5 seconds. And so I have essentially shortened this music file to match my fast forwarding video. If I go to the video tools, it does not tell me, it blanks out the duration. But I know by hovering over that video segment, it says duration 19.5. So when I move my little bar over just a little and play a part, the music should stop playing when I start talking. Let's test and see if that's true.
Here's another tip.
See, that's it. It did it just fine. Okay, now I'm just going to come up here and save so I don't lose anything. If you have a graphic in here, okay, you know that your graphic is, you can read that 7.0. I have The.Meri.Atelietemo. All I'm pointing out here is I'm using essentially the same way, only I'm putting my music over a graphic instead of a fast forward. And I can hover over it and see 7 seconds, but I can also go to my video tools and it shows me the duration of 7 seconds. Up here, where I just have the fast forward, look at my video tools. It does not show me the duration. I have to hover over this video to get the duration. I just wanted to point that out. It's essentially the same thing. I'm just going to copy this music and move it down to here, and I'm going to paste it over there, and then I'm going to come into my music tools, and instead of 19.5 seconds, I'm going to click once to highlight it, type in a 7, and then come over here into the blank areas where I go. I mean, you could probably go down here or any place there's a blank area, and then just tap on your left click key on your mouse, and that will put in 7 seconds for the end point of your music. And you have exactly the same thing. It's still playing my little introduction here with the music.
Here's another tip.
And then it goes into the tip part of the segment, which would be her vlog. Now I'm going to save this just so I don't lose what I'm going to upload. Now there's another way that you can do this, and I've called this the second way. There are probably many different ways that you can do this. These are just the two that I use. I come back to my fast forward segment. I have the second way here, just a little slide saying this is the second way. I play that for 5 seconds. And then I go into the fast forward segment. And immediately after the fast forward segment, I have a little talking segment, which would be her vlog. Would be the same thing.
Here's another tip.
That's just where I'm explaining another tip. Well, I don't want the music to play here. I want to stop the music after I'm done with the fast forward segment. So come up to the fast forward segment, go to your Add Music tab, add music at current point, choose your music. So I'm using Leslie Strutt out of the YouTube library, and open it. Now again, it's playing across everything, and you don't want that. So the second way that you can do that is come down to the beginning of the second segment where you start talking. Only at this point, I'm just going to click a couple times there. At this point, what you want to do is you want to back up to right at the end of the first segment, which would be right here, right there. So I'm going to move. You can actually move that little vertical line there like this. See how I grabbed a hold of it? And you can move it there. And you're at the end of the first segment. Another way you can do that is come over here to where your play pause key is, and right to the left there's a little arrow that says previous frame. Click that once and it backs up, and you know you're right at the end of the previous segment. So we want to stay on that point. Come up to your music tools and look, there's a split function here where it says split music. It says split the selected music into 2 items at the current point. So we're going to do that. Just click on that. And it makes 2 pieces of music. Now I could move this music down here. So I just have thank you, my little traditional thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, subscribe, and then just flip to the next page. And then I'm letting my music play to the end of my entire video. So let's go over that again. You go up to the fast forward segment, you add your music file, it will play continuously. You can see that it just goes over your talking segment. You come down here to the talking segment, you can back up to the previous segment. I like to go to the play pause button and back up once, so it moves my little cursor there. Then you go up to your music tab, which would be, at this point I've already split it, but you would have that music tab. You'd go up to your music tools and hit the split music, which is what I did. Right here, I did a split music right here. And then I took that music. You can either remove it, or in my case, I moved it down to the bottom of the file. So those are the 2 ways that I use. The first way is I add my music. I figure out the length of the segment that I want to play the music over, and then I come up to my music tools and I adjust that length. And you can do that both for a video segment and a graphic. The second way is I add the music file right at the beginning of the segment, like what you normally have. I come to my talking segment and I go to my music tools and I split it. So I hope this is clear. It's hard to verbalize everything and write down all the instructions. Sometimes it's easier to see it done in a video than I explained everything in the comments section when she asked the question, but sometimes it helps just to see it. So I'm going to go ahead and save this video and create my movie and upload it to YouTube. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments and we'll take it from there. For everybody else, I have been wanting to get out and do some urban sketching. I got hit with a very, very miserable cold this week, so I haven't been out of the house. I've been fighting this cold all week. It's a nice sunny day out. First nice sunny day that we've had all week too, so I'm just aching to get out to do some urban sketch videos, so they are coming. So thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next page.